Welcome to the secondary challenge for the Admiral Schröder, a Tier 8 premium cruiser. It is the main reward for the Lion of Flanders campaign. And normally secondary challenges are for battleships only. The Schröder here is the first cruiser to make the grade to qualify for a secondary challenge. I've done many secondary challenges in the past. You can search the channel for all of them, including the Grossiker first, and I think the Bismarck. Loadout was another one, and for sure Brandenburg was one, and a couple others, I think. And secondary gun hits is really what we're looking at, and I think my top was right around 700 secondary hits. And then I think somehow the secondaries were nerfed probably a year and a half ago, so there hasn't been much action with the secondary challenge. But here I thought it'd be interesting to do the very first cruiser that would qualify for a secondary challenge. And the Schröder does have enhanced secondaries. We've set up the upgrades here. First upgrade slot on a cruiser, by the way, is secondary battery mod 2, improvement to the secondary battery firing range and its dispersion by 20% respectively. And then for the fourth upgrade slot, secondary battery mod 3, which improves the secondary battery reload time by 20%. And then here for the commander, we're going with Azur Lane Bismarck, and this does give the best performance for secondaries. Hyde was another one that was mentioned in a comment to my update aftermath video. I checked it out, and Bismarck basically gives the same performance. They're both pay-to-win commanders, as it were, and historical commander, I guess, would be Hipper. Secondary range would be reduced just a little bit if you went with Hipper. But in any event, let's check out Azur Lane Bismarck as the commander. Base trait is unwavering strength, which improves the secondary battery reload time and its dispersion. And then the inspirations are Haruna, which improves the range and dispersion of the secondaries. And then Franz von Hipper, which improves the range and shell grouping of the secondaries. Here for the skills, there were, you have to be careful to select skills that are generic and not really specific to battleships. And that's basically what we've done here. No fly zone improves your ship's AA and firing range and damage per second. And yeah, it doesn't have to be in a battleship. Same thing here with Porcupine. Secondary gun range, shell grouping, and dispersion are all improved. Doesn't say anything that it has to be only in a battleship. Here the unique skill is War Height, which improves the incoming damage from projectiles while a secondary battery is aiming or shooting, and that reduces that by 6%. And then we went with Properly Meticulous here, which improves the secondary battery reload time, and secondary targeting duration is improved by 25%. And then here in a loadout screen, we wanted to make sure that we selected enhanced secondary targeting, which improves the shell grouping and dispersion of the secondaries while the booster is running. And duration is 37.5 seconds, reloads every 160 seconds, and there are 3 of those consumables. And after you've done all that, when you come over back to the specs and check out the artillery secondary firing range, you now have 10.8 kilometer secondary range. So that is a pretty good performing secondary range right there. 2.3 second reload time, 4.5 seconds for the 150 millimeters. But those are pretty good secondary numbers right there. So with that, let's go out in AI and see what we can get done with the secondary challenge. All right, so here we are in hotspot, and we are in our secondary challenge. The whole idea is simply get into the enemy positions and see how many secondary hits you can get. If at all possible, we try not to fire the main guns. All right, there's a Neptune. So he's not even going to be around by the time we can get up there. And with Yeah, all these humans in the match, it's kind of hard to be able to have some ships left by the time you can get in there. There's a Chungmu that is definitely within range, and we are going to activate our enhanced secondary targeting. See if we can chew this guy up and get a destroyed ship. Looks like we will. There you go. All right, so. All right, next up is the Neptune. We'll lock on the Hawk over there. All right, we are really racking up the secondary hits here. We got in the perfect match. And we do have a lot of health left. We're trying to angle a little bit here on the main. Looks like we're going to hit 500 secondary hits here. Right, the main isn't going to be around much longer, and he did rock us right here. And we got him on the secondaries. All right. 137,000 damage. On secondaries alone, almost 500 secondary hits. So let's back up, see if we can get the Hipper. And no. Well, all right. Almost 500 secondary hits with the secondary build of the Admiral Schröder in AI in the secondary challenge. And if you give it a try, let me know in the comments what kind of performance you got. How many secondary hits did you get? And next up is obviously we're going to check this out in a standard match and have another video about that. In any event, you got to see a little bit about the secondary build for the Tier 8 Admiral Schröder. Let me know what you think down below. This is the Jaguar, and I'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you like it.